Do you think religion as a whole, do you think its its role in politics in America is diminishing or increasing? How do you see that sort of panning out?
To some degree, it's increasing, but there's never been, and part of the foundation of the United States is, of course, is that there's not a religious test applied. But there are voters in the United States who, for them, a candidate that shares their religious values is something that is of great importance to them.
The amount of money that goes into these campaigns is huge. I mean, how much of an importance does funding play on the success of a candidate?
American politics is an expensive business because television advertising is hugely expensive. In one state, California, which won't be a particularly competitive state, but just to give you an example, a week of television advertising in the state of California costs almost $5 million. So this will be the first campaign in American history where both sides raise over $1 billion. It'll be the first billion-dollar political campaign, but when you compare the cost of politics in the United States to, for example, the amount of money that Americans spend on coffee and potato chips, it's a fraction of the cost.
But still, does this kind of enter into the public frame? Do people in the American public, is this an issue? Do they think even at a time of recession?
It's an issue among people in Washington, among the reporters, the elite journalists, among leaders in the parties, but your average American is much more focused on the unemployment rate, much more focused on economy issues, as opposed to how the campaigns are funded. It's really not an issue that real people tend to particularly care about.
When you're talking about so much money that's being donated to these candidates, is there a candidate that will ever again be truly independent? Is that ever possible for them to be?
Ronald Reagan had a line. He said, you know, when people endorse me, it's because they agree with my positions, not necessarily because I agree with theirs. These campaigns have become extraordinarily expensive. I think the campaign finance system is fundamentally broken at a lot of levels in the United States. There's a bipartisan consensus on that. But because we have a First Amendment in the United States, we have freedom of speech, that money has been defined as speech insofar as you talk about a candidate's ability to purchase advertising, to deliver their message. There's not a lot that can be done on the taking money out of politics side. There is some that can be done with regard to disclosure of where that money's coming from, who's funding, why they're funding, and to do it on the internet in an instantaneous basis after the donation is made.